Mr. Thompson was the kind of boss who loved paperwork. He believed every action needed a form and every form needed a signature, from both the employee and a manager. His motto: documentation is the backbone of productivity. We all knew that in reality, it just slowed us down. One day, Thompson rolled out a new policy. Every task, no matter how small, must be documented and approved before starting. He proudly announced it would prevent mistakes. Most of us groaned internally, but I decided to play along, all while keeping a friendly smile. After all, I had nothing against Thompson personally, it was his policies that were the problem. Later that week, our team was asked to handle a last-minute client request, a rush job. Typically we'd just jump on it and get it done, but now I had to fill out the new task approval form. I filled out the document, brought it to Thompson, and waited as he reviewed it. He signed off, but by the time I got back to my desk, we'd already lost 30 minutes. I worked efficiently, but we ended up delivering just past the client's deadline. They weren't happy. When Thompson questioned me, I remained calm. I wanted to make sure we followed the new approval procedure. It took some time. He looked frustrated, but nodded. After all, I was doing exactly what he wanted. I hadn't broken any rules or argued. I was just doing my job, by the book. The next incident happened during a meeting. Thompson asked us to take care of some small fixes on a project we had just finished. I pulled out a form and began filling it in, right there at the conference table. Thompson noticed and asked what I was doing. I smiled and said, "Just documenting the new tasks per policy." He frowned but didn't say anything. He couldn't really, I was only being diligent. The final push came when an urgent IT issue cropped up. One of our critical systems went down, and everyone looked at me since I was the tech-savvy one. But instead of diving in immediately, I opened the task documentation software and began typing. Thompson, seeing the growing panic in the room, finally snapped, "Just fix it already." I paused, looked up and asked, "Should I skip the documentation this time?" There was a long silence, and then, with a defeated sigh, he nodded. I fixed the issue in a few minutes. After that, the rigid documentation rules started to ease up. Thompson didn't explicitly say anything, but he quietly began trusting us to know when to document and when to just get things done. And my relationship with him? Surprisingly, it improved. By showing I was willing to comply, I think he realized I wasn't against him. I was just trying to make things work, even if it meant following his rules to their logical and ridiculous end.